Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and this art journaling page is going to be just a little bit different. I have been going through some of my collage papers and I found this gorgeous paper from Jane Davenport that I would like to incorporate onto my art journal page, and I think it will be so cute combined with these Dilutions Couture collection pieces. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have fun combining the pieces and seeing what happens. So I will put you guys on fast forward. Let's do it. This one is definitely going a little bit outside of my comfort zone. We're going to start with just trimming out. I'm going to use the smaller faces. I went back and forth on whether I wanted the really large faces to kind of mess with the proportions of what I was going to do, and then ended up deciding, no, I think I'll just go with the smaller ones. I'm going to trim them all out and put them off to the side and wait until the end to add them. I just wanted to kind of double check the size and everything. So let's trim those out, and then we're going to start working with some of these really, really big stamps. The hard thing about working with these Dilutions Couture stamps is they are so big. I don't have a stamp block that is big enough to hold this entire stamp, so I'm just having to keep it on its plastic backing and work with it from there. I'm kind of using this washi card to make sure it gets pressed down, especially this particular one because it's going over the edge. And it worked pretty well in the end. We're going to do the same thing with several other stamps, getting them in place. You can see it has these beautiful dresses that I can highlight and color and use later. I went back and forth on how I would layer this. So I know that I want a very colorful background, and I could have waited to put the stamps down until after I'd put the background down. I could have done them on a separate sheet of paper and then placed them over. There's several different ways I could have done it. I ended up deciding to put the stamping down first, then working through some of the background paint that I was going for, and then coming back over the top with acrylic markers to color in the stamps. I don't know if it was exactly the right choice, but it was some interesting layering and an interesting technique to try. It's a little tricky. There were a couple of stamps that were a little bit smaller that I'm going to put over here. I think they still work. The dresses are a little bit busier, but when I color them in later with the acrylic paint pens, then that will kind of, they're not acrylic, they're oil-based paint pens, but that will kind of change up what they look like in the end. So I actually don't like that they're so busy, but we're going to adjust that on the fly. For the background, what I was going for is a really messy looking technique. I'm using the Dina Wakley acrylics, and we're just going to paint scrape. And I'm just going to go nuts with the paint scraping, putting it all over the page. We're working from left to right, kind of in a loose rainbow order, not really a true rainbow order, but we're gonna just work across the page with some of the different colors. I don't have all of the Dina Wakley colors, just a sampling. I do very much like this particular paint. I like that it's a little bit more translucent. It dries very fast, which is fabulous for working in your art journal. And I do like the layering possibilities because it is so translucent. You're able to layer in some different ways that you maybe wouldn't be able to do with a more heavy body acrylic paint. This one is definitely thinner, and I think it looks pretty cool. So we're going to do just some, I'm trying to unclog a paint piece right here, but we're going to do the scrapes across the page, working again with all of the different colors. And I'm not really worried about the paint getting on where the dresses are, because once I do the paint pens, those will cover pretty well. It's not going to be a perfect cover. I could probably do several layers to create a more perfect looking cover, but I don't think it's going to be necessary for the kind of overall look that I'm going for. My only regret on this paint is that I don't actually have a yellow, and so it's kind of a rough transition from the green, from the pinks and the oranges right into the green. I do wish I had a yellow. I probably need to add that to my list for the next time I order from scrapbook.com, which is where I do like to pick up many of these supplies. It's great, and a lot of times they'll have sales for free shipping or 10% off your order, which kind of covers shipping. So I usually put things in my cart over there and then just save it until I catch one of those sales. So I probably need to add a few more colors to my collection. I decided to bring in some more purple on this side just to balance out some weight on the right side. And then the last little bit I'm going to do is actually come in with the white just to knock down some of the colors, fill in some of the spots that are open. And because the white also relatively translucent, I like that you can still see the colors from beneath it, and I like that it's kind of blending them because I didn't let them totally dry before I started with the white, and so it's picking up and moving colors around, and you're getting this very kind of messy. It almost looks like you just sprayed a bunch of color and just, I don't know. I like the look. I like the whitewash look over the color. I'm a big fan of how that background came out. Not perfect, not solid, and that is totally okay with me. All right, so for this next section, I am using some Sharpie oil-based paint pens. I picked these up at Michael's. I think they probably have a few more colors. I would love it if they had a huge array of colors in these. And I'm just going to go through and color in over top these dresses. Like I said, it does pretty well covering some of the paint that is on the dresses. It's not perfect. You are going to see some of the paint coming through. I probably could have done multiple layers to try to cover that up. I just didn't see that it was going to be totally necessary. So I'm going to go ahead and color in all of these dresses, and then we will wrap up the end of this art journal page. See that as I'm getting over here towards these smaller dresses that have a little bit more detail on them, I'm actually trying to take out some of the detail by simplifying the colors. I could have totally gone over the polka dots completely. I decided, no, let's keep some of that in, but I don't want them to be, I like the simplified look of the first couture dresses and then just layering these in. So once that is done, the last little thing I'm going to do is add the stitch mark that I love. I thought about whether I wanted to put words on this. I didn't really have words or a quote that was jumping out to me, so I think I'm just going to leave it like this, and I can always come back and add words after the fact. Once I finish my little stitch mark all the way around the edge, then the last little bit will be adding these faces in. I ended up deciding to just use your kind of standard Elmer's glue. This is collage paper, which is a thinner paper, which means some of the paint will come through. Again, I'm kind of okay with it. It's kind of weird. It's kind of different than what I would normally do for art journaling. But in the end, I kind of dug how it came out. So I will end up linking everything that I used down in the description box below. Again, I kind of like to pick up things from scrapbook.com. I put it on my wish list and order usually 2 to 3 times a year and just do a big order because it just makes it easier. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon members. You all are the absolute best. It is a fun, creative, quirky community over there, and we would love to have you. So if you want to come check things out, check out the perks you can receive, you can check out the link in the description box below. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.